Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Let's Clarify with, of course, myself, Mellissa Thomas, and Angel Perry, who is the Senior Vice President or the Executive Vice President for the Local 3108 Union of the Communications Workers of America. Angel, how's it going?
How's it going? It's going great. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Orlando.
Awesome. So our story is not quite so sunny, guys, and we're about to get into it in a minute.
Mm,
So as you know, guys, our shows come on Wednesdays. So this next thing actually happened pretty much the night after last week, like after we finished our show last week. But in case you hadn't heard the story yet, the National Guard was actually, the U.S. National Guards were actually essentially evicted from the U.S. Capitol after, of course, being called there for the purposes of the inauguration. Obviously, a much larger contingent of troops were called in for security purposes of the inauguration. There was an existing unit there, you guys remember, from the insurrection that happened on the 6th. For the inauguration, they wanted to make sure things went down without a hitch. Some more were called to the total of about 25,000. Is that correct? That's the total.
yeah, that's where it ended up over a course of about a week. So um, the night of the day of the riots, once everything settled down and the governors of Maryland and Virginia, along with Mike Pence, was able to activate the National Guards. The ones homegrown were 850 to start. And then the different states that they came from was between like New York, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, all together. They were all poured in from the 6th all the way up to that week, and 25,000 was like to make sure that all of DC was protected for the inauguration on the 20th.
Right. And then once the inauguration was over, U.S. Capitol Police told these guys, we need to skedaddle, like go ahead and stay in the garage. Because obviously you guys have likely seen these viral images of hundreds of National Guardsmen just kind of taking their brief naps on the U.S. Capitol floor in the different hallways, some like underneath staircases. And these are troops that are ready to be mobilized at any time. So these are not, awkward or odd conditions for them.
Right.
But obviously the hotels that they stay in, because they did have hotels booked for them, but the hotels are kind of out of the way. Some of them were in Maryland, some of them were in Virginia. So in between their breaks, because obviously they have watches, they were staggered, the travel time would have been inconvenient for them to leave to go to the hotel and then come back. So they chose to simply nap where they could. And ultimately the U.S. Capitol Police vacated them. They were told that they would be in a garage facility that provided restrooms and heating. However, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see from this footage here, it's your regular, typical parking garage. This is, of course, the garage in U.S. Capitol. A lot of these images were also provided courtesy of Senator Tim Scott, because, of course, he was one of the many lawmakers on both sides of the aisle that was outraged at what he saw. And, Angel, you experienced some of that outrage kind of firsthand. Folks were calling you. Kind of talk about that.
So the Wednesday night last week, I didn't really get any messages, or I wasn't paying attention to them. But Thursday morning, as soon as I put my phone on and I'm getting flooded, what is going on up there? What is happening? I'm just getting flooded. So I reach out to my congressional contacts. What is happening? Their phones are also getting flooded. So apparently, leadership from the Capitol Police decided to tell the National Guard, you guys can't just be all over the Capitol building. When it's time for your break, you need to go to the garage. Now, just so you understand the scheduling, their day shift can be up to 12 hours, depending on where they're assigned. And those that are specifically in the Capitol building, it'll be, a few hours on, 2 hours off. During those 2 hours, and that's not including lunch. Lunch is a little bit longer, or can be a little bit longer, depending on their shift. The 2 hours is meant for them to recharge their phone so they can stay in contact with their family and their whoever's in charge of whatever unit they're in.
Right.
For them to actually take naps, because when they're on task, they are armed and prepared for battle. Period.
Right.
We're not having the chaos that was happening on the 6th. We don't know what could happen. They are trained for war. Unfortunately, it's they're protecting the new president and Congress specifically because of the death threats that are still coming in for members of Congress and Mike Pence. So yeah, a lot of people are not liking Mike Pence right now, and apparently he's homeless.
Interesting.
Yeah, he was governor before VP, so
right.
Put anything together. So him and the family is kind of couch surfing. Is would like to say, but he's wealthy, he's fine. It's just funny he doesn't have a residence yet. But back to the National Guard. This person out of the Capitol Police decided that they didn't like the soldiers being everywhere. Mind you, Congress loved it. They were getting snacks, taking pictures. These are the people that allow us to be free, and you're going to tell them you're an inconvenience. You need to go to the garage. Now, that garage had one bathroom for hundreds of troops.
Right.
Very few chargers. So the whole idea of having the 2-hour break so you can charge your phone just went out the window.
Exactly.
So by the time Senate was in session, it was fixed. Okay. None of Congress was having it. And even the First Lady, Dr. Biden, was out there Thursday or Friday, with gifts for everybody because she wasn't having it. Her babies needed to be taken care of. What are y'all doing? And the chief of police of the Capitol Police had to go to a private session with the Senate and explain her people's choices. It didn't come from her office, and then she wasn't even trying to hear that somebody did that. She was trying to pawn it off. It was nobody else. It was one of her subordinates decided that, this is a competition. It's not a competition
whatsoever.
These are the people that protect our freedoms. That's why they were activated.
They were needed. They were needed.
I would think the person would have been like, we need the help. Because if I'm not mistaken, the Capitol Police is only about 1,200 sworn personnel. And when the riots happened, it was more than...
Oh, they got overpowered.
It was 40,000 people.
Right. Yeah, they got overpowered.
So
they need all the help they can get. Exactly.
That math didn't work out for that person. They're we don't need them.
Right.
No, we always need them. If they're activated, they need to be made comfortable. What can I buy you? When I'm out and about, if I'm eating and there's either a police officer or soldier or veteran behind me, their meal's on me automatically. They don't even get the choice. Paid for. Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Now, see, that is a thank you. I like that. Yeah. As a military veteran, I feel that. That's dope. That's a thank you. That's how you do a thank you.
Yeah. I feed them. That's it.
For sure. Now, there is more to this conversation, guys. Do stay tuned because we're going to talk a little bit more about that response. You know what I mean? Obviously, you guys saw the clip with Dr. Jill Biden going ahead and delivering kind of care packages, if you will, for the troops. But some of the lawmakers were pretty ticked off as well. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
At Duke Energy, we deliver electricity and so much more, like free home energy assessments, rebates for energy-saving improvements, payment options to help you better manage your budget, and even bill credits for helping the community use less energy. So no matter what you're doing, we can help you make better energy choices every day. It's just another way we bring power to your life. How much can you save?
All right, guys, we are back with Let's Clarify. And, as we mentioned before the break, there were a lot of lawmakers on both sides of the aisle that were ticked off about this. So, one most notably was Senator Tammy Duckworth, who was like, hey, I'll give them my office. Like, this is insane. This is unacceptable. She was one of the ones that was like, hey, they should not be sleeping in the garage. So this is actually her tweet here for those who didn't see it. And she just said, like, this is unacceptable. Like, we have to fix this. I'm demanding answers ASAP. And she wasn't the only one. And this one lawmaker here, Madison Cawthorn, who is a representative, he's on the Congress side, he actually delivered pizzas to the troops. Since he heard what was going on with them, he was like, hey, I'm here to bring some pizzas if you guys want any. And they obviously, it's chow. Yeah, like, yes, thank you.
That is easy. There's actually almost, I don't know any member of Congress on the House or Senate side that did not offer their office suites or buy them food or made sure that they had ability to charge their phones. Like, everyone was livid that the idea that a Capitol Police officer, a subordinate of the, what's her name? Pittman, decided to tell them to go to the garage like they were like dogs for a kennel or something. Like, I'm still really angry about it. The press did not release this person's name, obviously, because their life would just utterly
There was like death threats. Yeah.
Like, ruined. Like, what job will you have after this? You were the person that told military troops, active duty, protecting the Capitol,
thousands
to go
of them
to the garage like they were your dog or something.
Right. Yeah, that was very flooring. But, as I mentioned, off camera with you, like it was reassuring to see the bipartisan response to that. Like, it wasn't just the GOP or just the Democrats that responded. Like, no, this is a human problem. Like, these are people that are here to protect the Capitol, and their military, like, they've been mobilized. Like, they need to have what they need in order to do the job.
Yeah, there was no politics in this at all. This isn't about policy. Like, people know that your ability to move forward in this country in any capacity, taking a walk, going to your job, making a phone call, all that's available by the foundation of protecting this country. People that protect this country is the military. Like, there's nothing else. Nothing else exists at the level of what we have and get to enjoy. Now, I had some statements from some of the troops. So the beginning of all this, now they do have an armory right by the Capitol, and there's a school by the Capitol. The school was worried about protest, so then the people in charge moved them from the armory to a hotel, and then that first hotel, and I'm talking about the 6th and the 7th, that first hotel was owned by this another school that was worried about protest, kicked them out of there, and they had to go to a third place. Again, any business that thinks that they're worried about whatever they're worried about, you don't have any ability to conduct business without the freedoms sacrificed and afforded through the military. That, like, I'm lost at that decision. And then you can't say, well, I wouldn't get paid. The government pays same day. Like, what is the logic behind that? And that's not the only time that's happened. If I'm not mistaken, last year when they were National Guard was activated, it was a hotel that kicked them out as well. I don't remember the name of the hotel right now, but it just seems to be an ongoing thing that people forget their freedom is fought up until, someone being killed in active duty. That's a high price, and most people aren't willing to pay it, but you've got to be thankful. You got to be thankful.
Right.
You got to remember where your ability to function in this country comes from. Like all the structures in place, the foundation is what protects our freedoms.
Very true. And to the point that the schools were making about them being afraid of protests, like this is the National Guard. If protesters show up, they can handle it. I'm just saying.
They are fully armed. Hello? Protests.
They can handle it.
And just to clarify the difference, a protest is a group of people stating something they're displeased with. A riot is acts of violence with a group of people. So there's a big difference. Are you afraid of protests or are you afraid of rioters? Because the National Guard would keep people under control, which they did during Inauguration Day. There were some arrests of people that thought they were going to do something. They got stopped.
With the quickness.
They didn't even hit a blip on the news.
No, like everybody saw the inauguration. It was smooth.
It was.
They did their job.
Designed, absolutely as designed. But whatever they were worried about, they were just being biased. It is a free country, but it's only free because of the military. And if you forget that, you've got some things to work on yourself.
For sure.
Your mirror ain't working.
Plus, you got some research to do. As Angel always says, Google is free. You know what I mean?
Google is free, but that your mirror's broken. I'm sorry.
Right.
You woke up and forgot to check. You forgot to check. That don't make no sense.
Absolutely, absolutely. So with that, we're going to take a final commercial break, and then we're going to wrap up our little clarification session today. But stay tuned. All right, we'll be right back.
I'm not picking it up. You pick it up.
I'm not picking it up.
Well, somebody's got to pick it up.
I'll pick it up. They're clean. 'Cause my hand is clean. Oh yeah, I'm Charmin clean. That's how I know they're clean.
Charmin Ultra Strong is woven like a washcloth and just cleans better.
Yeah, I'm Charmin clean.
The kid does have a
That's
point.
My hand is clean. Yeah.
Enjoy the go with Charmin. And for an extra clean finish, try Charmin Flushable Wipes.
And we are back, guys, wrapping up this episode of Let's Clarify. So, from a situation like this, Angel, what is the main takeaway from someone who's seeing this? Maybe they just heard about it too. Maybe they've been under a rock and probably didn't hear about it or anything. But like, what is the action step now? Because if somebody sees this and they're mad, like, what can they do constructively with that anger?
The biggest thing is if you see active duty members of the military or veterans, the very least, just say thank you. Like, just say thank you. Buy a meal, that's the better. Buy a meal, feed them. Okay? Feed them. Like I said, I often practice, if I am aware of a veteran or a member of the military behind me in line, like, that's not even a question. Meals paid for. Like, I've been doing that for over 6 years now, consistently. I always did it before, but now I'm just more conscious of it. And then, you just want to teach your kids, teach your family members. Maybe they don't really know that you just don't really go forward in this country without the freedoms. Freedom in this country is purchased by blood, meaning they fight and defend here, this soil.
For sure.
Like, there's nothing else. You can't be patriotic if you're not doing the bare minimum and being grateful for for someone else's sacrifice, because life is hard. It's a true calling for those that serve this country.
Yes, indeed. That was a bar, by the way, y'all. Like, she sped past what she said, but I want to repeat it so you guys can get it. Like, freedom in this country is bought by blood. Like, that sounds like a stark thing, but that is very true.
That
any
is
amount
facts.
any amount of American history that you read, even present tense right now, like, that is still the case.
Yes, there are soldiers serving all over, and every time there's a casket with a flag, like, no, like that's not even, you can't even pretend or sugarcoat it. Freedom is
Right.
purchased by blood.
Absolutely.
Be grateful.
That is the perfect note to end the show on, guys. So, join the conversation. If you guys have any questions, you agree, disagree, what were your thoughts on the situation with the U.S. Capitol, the National Guardsmen being kind of that shift that they did, being sent to the garage and then the backlash and then them being brought back into the Capitol? Give us your thoughts on all of that. We would love for you guys to join the conversation. As you see on the screen, hashtag Let's Clarify. I know that's a lot of spelling. It's all right. We keep it on the screen so you can see it. Plus, it's in our social media posts, so you can always copy paste. We make it nice and convenient for you guys. But speaking of social media, if you haven't already, be sure to like, share, subscribe. You can find us at all those lovely handles on Facebook, on YouTube. You'll find us at Florida National News. And on Instagram, we are at Florida National News as well. So it's easy to remember. So, of course, Angel can be found on Instagram as well at A4Amazing, the number 4 amazing. So if you guys want to mention her specifically, go ahead and holler. And, we would love to read and check out you guys' comments. Angel, always a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you. Thank you. I
Yes.
appreciate you.
No problem. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, continue to stay safe. We are still dealing with the pandemic out here. Yes. Mask up. Be sure to stay safe and stay in touch with your loved ones, particularly for those who are not closest to you. If you got to call them, be sure to do that. Stay in touch with the folks that matter the most to you. All right. In the meantime, we'll see you next week. Take care.